I think you have to come close to me. You have to see in the shot. Okay. Okay, so we're going to talk about Kai's birth story with my sweet husband G, who's so happy to be here.
So happy.
Sharing our experience with everyone. So let's start. I kind of want to start. I mean, I know you guys heard about how I was trying to get him out at 38 weeks, and that was pretty much like the last time I was on social media, basically until he showed up. So we were trying to get him out since 38 weeks, and we literally were doing like all the things to get him out. All the things. If you can think about natural induction methods, we probably tried it.
Yeah.
Like the only
Spend
thing,
a lot of money.
Yeah, spend a lot of money, a lot of time, just trying to get him out. And I mean, babies come when they want to. That was like the first lesson I learned in motherhood.
The most exhausting part at 38 weeks was that my wife was determined that the baby was going to come.
I was over the pubic pain pressure.
And so every single night was almost an expectation for the baby to come, and so every single morning when the baby didn't come, it was a bit of a letdown. So for, from 38 weeks to the time the baby was born, over 3 weeks from that was tiring.
Yep, it was very tiring. So 38 weeks came, baby still wasn't here. 39 weeks, he wasn't here. We got to the 40-week mark and we're like, okay, it's his due date. Hopefully he shows up. Obviously still didn't show up. So I was on maternity leave since 38 weeks too, so for 3 weeks we were basically trying to coax him out and nothing was working. 41 weeks came around and we went to our midwife appointment, and they warned us that if he didn't show up or if there was no progress made with labor, because we were having Braxton Hicks surges or contractions, we call them surges from hypnobirthing, every night up until this point, but there was no progression. Like when the morning would come, they would stop. Mm-hmm. So it'd get really frustrating because for labor to happen, you have to have a progression of surges, which just wasn't the case. Yeah.
So from 38 weeks with the Braxton hits, at every single night it was like clockwork. They become really intense for her. Happen pretty consistent between 5 to 6 minutes. Every first time parent gets excited. So we thought,
this is the night.
This is the night, every single night, and that's why I just got exhausting. But, they're very wishy-washy.
The Hicks, the Braxton Hicks.
Braxton Hicks.
I mean, they're preparing your body for labor, so I feel like that's what was technically happening. It just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready at that time to come out. So 41 weeks comes along. Our midwife is like, if there's no progression in your labor, by the time you hit 42 weeks, we're gonna have to transfer you to the hospital. And at that point, I was stressing out because I was not prepared for a hospital birth. I was it was the total opposite of what I was planning on doing, an unmedicated hypno water birth. So for them to tell me, hey, you might have to go to the hospital, I was like, oh my God, what the hell?
Where you can't do a water birth, you're restricted to laboring on the bed.
Yeah, I mean, you might get to walk around, but you don't get to necessarily change your positions during birth or during labor. I know you can, at the Hoke Hospital, you can labor in the water, but you couldn't give birth in the water, which is not what I wanted to do. So that freaked me out, but my midwives were just reminding me, it's normal for first-time moms to go past the 41-week mark, so just relax, keep doing what you're doing.
41.3 weeks is the average for first-time moms.
According to Hypnobirth, and he came at 41.2 weeks, so he was right around there. So we went home and
what did we do that night? That was a Thursday, right?
That was a Thursday, yes. Okay, so we went home, relaxed. That Saturday on 1/12 or 2/12, so the night before he came. Friday before he came. Yeah, the Friday before he came, I went to what I hoped was my last acupuncture appointment. And she did E-stim, and she hit all the pressure points, and you want to say something?
I was gonna say something. So on that 41 week on that Thursday, she got her third membrane sweep.
Oh yes, I've been having membrane sweeps.
Third one.
Also a natural induction.
Usually only need one.
Yes.
For labor to start progressing, but we had three.
We had 3 of those.
That Thursday was the third one.
Yes, the third membrane sweep, and then that Friday was my acupuncture.
Then the acupuncture. So we were keeping our fingers crossed that those 2 things alone, plus being 41 weeks, that was going to be it.
Yes, that's a good reminder. So I went to my acupuncture appointment. She did all the things to help coax him out. And during my appointment, I remember getting surges, and they weren't necessarily consistent, but they were a lot stronger than before. So when I went home that evening, we made sure to go to bed. I think we even had eggplant parmesan or something for dinner, because that's also supposed to be some way to like naturally induce your baby. Did it work? I don't remember. I don't know if it does, but we tried it. I remember having eggplant parmesan.
It's always that last thing that you did right before baby comes that is the miracle for labor inducing. It's crazy.
Yeah,
what we learned into the story.
Baby will come when they want to come. But you can still do
really
things to prep.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's like a magic bullet to get him out.
Yeah, we'll go over it a little bit later. But the what we think the whole thing with prepping is how long labor will last, not necessarily to get labor started.
Yeah, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
So we had eggplant parmesan that night. We went to bed early thinking, this could be the night, because sure enough, night comes around and I started getting surges again, and they were still strong, and they were strong since the appointment, my acupuncture appointment. So we went to bed early, and on 2:13 in the morning, Saturday morning, I wake up at 3 a.m. and I start having surges, and I was really excited because they actually continued into the morning. So I woke G up. I was really stoked.
She woke me up about 3:30.
Yep.
Saying that they were getting more intense, because that was the key, is that
they weren't stopping.
Don't keep track of your contractions, your surges, until you can't not keep track of them, until they're just so annoying that you can't ignore them.
Yeah.
So she woke me up at 3:30 saying they're getting more intense. First time literally since we started that 30 that she woke me up in the middle of the night. So that was nice. kind of nice to hear. I got excited. I jumped up, everything.
Yep. Then we started timing them.
Yeah, we started timing. We got on the phone with the doula.
Yeah, let her know that they were coming in consistently at 6 minutes apart.
But yeah, we basically just came out. We came out into the living room from about 3:30 till about 5. I think we put on a movie.
Yeah.
Just to kind of relax. We started timing them during that hour and a half. They were pretty consistent between 5 minutes.
6 minutes.
6 minutes, but they were getting more intense, she said. So doula decided to come over. I think she got here around
5:36ish.
Yeah, probably around 6.
So she came at around 6, and then we started just doing things to keep the surges consistent. So we were doing things from using her rebozo, which is like this huge sash that you can either put around your body, or like she puts around her body. Like, there's so many things that you can do with it. Ask your doula. It's a rebozo. Great trick to have when you're going through labor. Bouncing on the exercise ball. What else did we do? Just walking around, doing lunges, hands and knees position on our couch.
Shower.
So yeah. So once they started getting more consistent, and we were told to call our midwife once they hit 311, which is 3-minute surges for an hour. No, for an hour.
You had it.
That last a minute for an hour. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So
contractions every 3 minutes, lasting a minute for an hour.
Yes.
At that point, that's when we had to call our doula.
Yes. So.
Or I'm sorry, midwife.
Our midwife. So our doula, told us to go into the shower to, get surges to get to that point. So I did squats in there as well as nipple stimulation, and then by that point, we had surges coming in at that 311 mark.
Almost every 2 minutes, realistically, at that point.
Yeah, so we head to the birthing center, and while we're driving there, I even commented saying to G, like, it's intense. And I would say that after every surge, like, wow, it was intense. But we're driving the birthing center, and I'm like, wow, this is intense, but I don't get what the big deal is. Like, I get it, but I still feel pretty good. Like, I still feel pretty fine right now. Like, I can do this. This is good. So we get to the birthing center. Midwife is there. Her name's Aki. She checks me. She's like, yeah, you're 4 centimeters.
Dilated.
Yeah, dilated.
Which means we're nowhere really that
nowhere close.
We're just starting. So
she's like, and you're still smiling. The next time I see you, you're not going to be smiling. And I'm like,
I don't want you to be smiling.
I don't want you to be smiling. I'm like,
be hunched over, groaning.
And for me, I was kind of like, okay, because in hypnobirthing, we learned that, it's all about perception. I didn't want to think about being in pain, but what I did get from what she was saying was, it should be more intense than what I was feeling, obviously while I was still in a good mood.
Mm-hmm.
So we go back home, we labor, and I want to say we still did all the tricks.
So by this point, it's about 9:30, 10 a.m. When she got her cervix checked. That's when Aki said, go back home. Hopefully labor at home. Hopefully you guys will be back here at 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and we'll have a baby in the afternoon, late afternoon from there. So we go back home, start laboring, and honestly, once we got home, it kind of started intensifying. In terms of length, it went back to about 5 to 6 minutes.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So it got a little to the point like, all right, well, this is gonna prolong a little bit.
Yeah.
Into the afternoon, late afternoon, it started getting more intense.
Yeah, we still were doing all the tricks, and
still laboring with our doula.
My favorite thing that Maddie did with us was massage. Like, she gave me like a full body massage, which is so relaxing, so nice. I mean, get a doula for that alone.
100% worth the money.
So nice.
It's ridiculous.
And then she also did E-stim, which is where she puts like these electrical points. It's kind of like pads. What you get, pads on acupressure points, and it's like an acupuncture method, and that helps so much to make the surges bearable. And that's the thing with having a doula too. It's they help your labor progress, but they also help make it bearable, which I think is super important if you're wanting an unmedicated birth.
And mentally, they keep you mentally focused.
Yeah, and they keep you mentally focused, because honestly, without her, it would have been impossible. So finally, I want to say we were progressing, and we finally we go back to the birthing center at around 4:30?
Well, yeah, around 4. That's when we reached back out to the midwife, because that's when it was getting around 4 minutes intervals, 3-minute intervals. But by this point, you can physically tell that her surges are much more intense. And
with every surge too, I was doing my surge breath was horse lips, and it was like, and the reason why is because when you do horse lips, your cervix can't tighten, and you want to have your cervix as relaxed as possible. Otherwise, it can delay your labor, and it can delay the birth. So as it was intensifying, I was doing regular horse lips, to having low tones, the
entire surge for a minute and a half.
Yeah, that entire time.
And honestly, because the trick that I've said, I'm not a woman, I ain't go through it, but
that you noticed.
Just from everything I've learned and all the books I've read, women have to get into a ritual and a rhythm.
Yeah.
And so
it's like a meditative state, which is what we learned in hypnobirthing.
The horse lips, it completely gets her to zen out, stay focused into the moment.
Relax your body, let it do its thing.
Yep, and it's really, if you can last the 60 to 90 seconds that, it is intense.
Yeah, that those surges
whatever means eases you, that's the trick.
Yep. So they were getting more intense at that point, and
so about 5 o'clock, we head over to back to the midwife.
Center. Back to the birthing center. This time, we enter into South Coast, and I hunch over, what is it, the welcoming desk, and I'm going through a surge there, and they move me into the room. Naki's like, yep, you look like you're in active labor now. Let's check you. So she checked me, and she's like, what was I? 6
so once you
centimeters.
6 centimeters. So we're all dancing, because 6 is the start of active labor.
Yeah. So I thought it was 7 when I entered. No.
I think you entered at 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure you entered at 6.
Okay. So so I'm officially in active labor now. Hooray! Super exciting. So we go into the delivery room, where it was called the Serenity Room, the birth room, to help labor more. Still doing all the tricks. We're doing lunges, rebozo. He was there the entire time, just supporting me, literally. Even when I was doing squats, you were there to help support me while I was
holding
squatting.
her weight. I was so sore by the end of the day.
Yeah, seriously. Another thing they had me do too was sitting on the toilet, which you wouldn't think would really help, but surprisingly it actually helps a lot. Because you go to the toilet, you usually do that to poop or pee, so it really helped to just open your cervix up and relax more. So we did that. They didn't want me getting into the tub until I was more progressed. So it took a couple hours then.
Yeah, so I would say from about 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., 3 hours laboring. I think at that point we had Aki, our midwife, come back and check your dilation.
Yeah.
And at that point she said, all right, you're now 8 centimeters dilated.
You can head into the tub.
Yeah, so we got into the tub at that point. I mean, at this point, Raquel is vocal. You can tell that it's changed. It's no longer, the same breathing that she was doing in early labor. She's focused. She's bearing down.
Yeah.
They did say, so this is at 8 p.m. They did say a little bit later, if you want us to break her water, because at this point we hadn't noticed any water being broke. We can do that for you, and that would progress things. So we're like, all right, well, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
So that was at 8 p.m. I would say till about 10 p.m.
You broke my labor at 10 p.m. It was that late?
Well, maybe not.
I would say like at 9 they broke it.
Maybe at 9:30. So
Well, I'm laboring this entire time in the tub.
In the tub.
My usual position was on my knees with my elbows like leaned over the tub. Hunched over. So he was in front of me. I'm hunched over in my knees. I feel like that's one of the easier positions to birth in, quite honestly. And they tell you, though, for your labor to progress that you should be changing positions. So I was in that position for a while. Once I got to about 8 centimeters, Aki was like, okay, try to squat while in the tub on your yoga block. I tried to squat on the yoga block, and I was like, holy shit, this is way too intense. Like, it literally felt like I had to poop while that was happening. Like, it was just like the hugest poop, and I was like, nope, not doing that. So I moved towards the end of the tub, where I kind of squatted, but it wasn't on a block or anything. Like, nothing was pushing up against me, but I was holding myself up while squatting. So
Looked sore.
It was sore, but it felt like a relief because there wasn't as much pressure on my lower area. So while I'm back there, it just feels more and more intense, like you have to poop. So felt like I had to poop. So with every surge that was coming, I was gently starting to push. Obviously nothing was happening, so I got really frustrated. I had them call Aki, and I was like, can she check me, and if I'm good, like, can we just break my water at this point? Because I was done.
Yeah, you could tell, and I could tell. We were all exhausted. I mean, we were up to 3:30 in the morning.
3 a.m. in the morning, and it's already like, I don't know, 8 o'clock.
I would say it's about 9 p.m. at this point. So Aki comes back in 9:30. So I think she still said, yeah, you're still about 8.5 centimeters. And I at this point I say, Aki, let's go ahead and break the water. I can tell. I don't think Raquel wants to or really can
and I was asking to have my water broken.
Too much longer of this, if we didn't have her break the water when she did, I think it could have gone at least another 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah,
easily.
At least. Especially if I was just gonna breathe the baby out like I learned in hypnobirthing.
Exactly. So 9:30, let's call it.
She breaks the water.
She breaks the water just laying on the bed.
Yep, I head back into the tub.
Huge gush, but all that good show.
And it started to really intensify it at that point. Like
they said it was going to start coming on
way more consistently. Surges were a lot stronger. I head into the tub, and I don't know. I go back into my position where I'm like leaning over.
Yeah, for a while.
And then it feels like I'm ready to push. So she checks me a little while later, and she's like, "Yep, you're at 9.5 centimeters. Like with this next surge, go ahead and push." So I try to breathe it out. I didn't even like push. I was trying to like breathe it down, like we learned in hypnobirthing, using a J breath.
Technically, you shouldn't need to
push.
Technically. This is theoretically.
What we learned in hypnobirthing.
Because you can use a J breath like when you're pooping and
to help guide it.
Yeah, your muscles just contract and push everything down.
Yes. So she was telling me like, nope, you need to push. And even my doula was like, Raquel, like on the next breath or the next time you need to push, I need you to hold your breath and push. And I was like, I can't do that. Like that's.
I don't want to tear.
Like, I don't want to tear. That was literally what I said. I was like, I don't want to tear. She's like, you have to push though. Like you're not. She's like, you're so close to being your son. You just have to push. This point, like I could really feel him like crowning down there. I could feel the pressure. And I was like, fuck it. Like
it's probably 10:30.
I want him out. I will just frickin' push. So I'm pushing and pushing and pushing, and I can feel Aki like moving around in there. Like
she has her hands.
She has her hands all up in there, like moving his head. I know she even mentioned something saying how she had to like help him under my pubic bone because I guess he was getting stuck there. And finally, I know Maddie could see me struggling, so she grabbed her rebozo, which is like that huge sash that I mentioned, and she told me while I was pushing to like pull at it. And that really helped a lot. So I'd hold my breath, push really, really hard, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't even give a fuck if I tear at this point, I just want him out. So with the next breath, I pushed, and I mean, he came out. I remember them saying about the head, and they asked me if I wanted to feel it.
Oh yeah, so backing up a little bit, while she's pushing, you know, Aki has her hand way up there, and I'm right there next to Raquel, helping her. But Aki says, we're at I can feel the head. His head's right here. It hasn't crowned yet. But do you want to feel it? And Raquel's like, no.
I just
she's
I
very
shook my
bluntly
head.
no.
I was like, absolutely not.
But I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
I know. I just wanted him out. Like I didn't care about his
So
head.
I mean, I stick my hands up there, and probably, I mean, not even a half inch, you feel his head, and I'm freaking out at this point. Like, are you kidding me? You're so close. You can do this.
Close.
So yeah, probably another 15 minutes after that point. 10-15 minutes.
I was only pushing for 20.
Yeah, you're only pushing for 20, so maybe even less. But baby's head comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I think you had to push 2 or 3 more times after head was out for baby to be born.
And
but
Aki caught him, and then you helped catch him too.
Yeah. So the way they did it, the way that he was birthed is.
I was still on my hands.
Yeah, she was on her knees, leaning
over
the tub,
mm-hmm.
just like this.
Mm-hmm.
So baby came out. Midwife was the one that got his head and you know, pulled him out. I technically, you know, caught the baby. And then from there, I passed baby under mom's legs.
Mm-hmm.
That way, baby would come straight up onto belly. And so we got to do that whole thing. Yeah. We did a delayed skin to skin. So we did the delayed cord clamping.
Well, he was finally there. Let's rewind. So when he arrived, I remember just thinking how alert he was. Like his eyes were open, and because he was a water birth baby, before they even passed him to me, they kind of just let him sit underneath the water just for a few seconds.
So that was
just
cool. So
for
he's
him
looking
to be
up.
adjusted. Yeah, get adjusted from womb to water. He could see him looking up and just like staring up, so calm, so relaxed. And this entire time during labor too, the nurse would be checking up on me. She would use like a Doppler thing, and she would just like check his heartbeat. And they would always comment how happy he was and how no stress he was. And I honestly,
just totally calm.
Even though I didn't get to like birth completely using my hypnobirth method, as in breathing him out, I think it helped a ton just being able to zen out and be relaxed as possible to help ease him out. Because I mean, it definitely affected him. He came out into this world very alert and very relaxed, and yeah, it was great. We did delayed cord clamping, like you said.
Yep, we did, because the opposite is to collect the cord blood, store it, and that way, you know, if something were to happen to baby, chronic illness, some sort of disease, you can use the stem cells to repair it. Now, the issue with that, just for any moms or parents who's thinking about it, is every single year, this is a private company that you have to store the blood with. So every single year, there's a yearly fee. Don't know what it is. Usually thousands. Maybe about, I'm not exactly sure, but I know it's about 1,000. And then they say that the blood itself is actually only good for about 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Which means if, baby doesn't get a chronic illness and shoot until they're maybe in college, then all that money you spend is worthless and they have to throw it away anyways. So the alternative was the delayed cord clamping. The reason why we did that is because that allows a lot of the vitamins, extra good heavy blood to still get the nutrient blood to get into baby from mom. Instead of, at a hospital, they pretty much cut it
immediately. Yep. So we did that, and then I delivered the placenta on the bed, and by that point I didn't even feel anything. It was literally, it literally just felt like liquids coming out of me. It didn't hurt at all. But I guess it's easier to birth something that doesn't have bones in it. Mm-hmm. And then I remember you saying I was bleeding a lot.
Yeah, so during this So after, baby comes out of water, they transfer us to the bed. I'm holding baby. They're the midwife, nurse, everybody's focused on mom. Once we got to the bed, the placenta came out, but blood was still pretty much flowing pretty heavily. It didn't really stop. So they pretty much focused to that. I know they said that, immediately they put about 1,500 milliliters. So
of
like
Pitocin or of IV?
No, of IV. So about a bag and a half of IV straight into her. They started immediately with the massages to get the uterine to contract, stop the bleeding. They hit her with a shot of Pitocin, because at this point we didn't want any drugs, but we hit her with a shot of Pitocin, which usually they do at hospitals to get labors to start moving along and progressing.
This is to help contract my uterus contract.
They hit her with the Pitocin to have her uterus contract so to stop bleeding. They hit her with the first one after I think maybe about 2 minutes. Blood really didn't stop the bleeding. So they hit her with the second one, which is a lot of Pitocin at that point. Bleedings finally started slowing down. That with the massages, the IV got to what a normal amount you could say would be for someone who just gave birth. But it was scary. I'll admit. So baby came out at 11:19. We went home at 3:30, but I would say till about maybe 2:30 the focus was on getting the blood to stop. So I'm holding baby.
I mean, I felt fine though, honestly, but apparently I lost a lot of blood. I'm done with my iron supplements as of today, but they had me on iron supplements for the past month just to make sure my levels were good. But yeah, other than that, I feel like, I had the birth that I wanted. It was a natural hypno water birth. Granted, I didn't get to breathe the way I necessarily wanted to, but come to find out, according to my other midwife, Lori, she told me that breathing or doing a hypnobirth for a first-time mom is like close to impossible, because it's like pushing a car uphill.
Yeah. There's just no, it's a muscle, right? So it's muscle memory. It's never opened that wide before. Thinking that you can actually
work that hard before to get something that big out of you. So maybe for the second or third I can do a complete hypnobirth, but the first birth around, I had to push, but it was what it was.
No tearing.
I didn't tear.
No, nothing like that.
Yeah, and I honestly think the reason why I didn't tear it either was because it was in water. I did a lot of Kegels in preparation beforehand. We did perineal massages too a few weeks beforehand as well. A lot of squats. I did a lot of squats in preparation as well, and then prenatal yoga, all that stuff. I felt like that all helped. Oh, and the dates.
The dates.
I feel like that helped a lot with not
all
tearing
that stuff,
and softening
again,
the cervix.
Softening the cervix. It helps with the length of labor, because supposedly they don't even really count labor until it's active labor.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So technically our active labor was 6 hours, which for first-time moms...
6.5. Yeah, which is
average,
pretty good.
Oh, it's really good, because first-time moms is average
8 hours.
8 plus.
Yeah, but 8
hours. 8 to 13 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, and then pushing for at least, 8 to 13, and then pushing for like 2 to 3.
2 to 3, but she was only pushing for 20 minutes.
I think it was a Kegel, honestly.
Yeah.
So... yeah, that's basically our birth story.
A
little long-winded, I know.
A little long-winded, but...
I'll post a blog about it as well.
A lot of I know, like, my mom and, our parents were kind of surprised / worried that 5 hours after baby came out, we went home.
Yeah, because we went home shortly after, but it was 3 in the morning.
Whereas, the hospital, they keep you for, like, 2 days just to make sure, but we were home a couple hours later, so...
Yeah.
It was crazy. We originally wanted 24 hours to wait.
To have visitors over.
To have visitors over, family over to start meeting baby. But since we got home at 3:30, we had really been up for 24 hours.
Yeah, at this point.
We woke up, I think, at like 7 a.m. the next following morning.
Let our family
called my
know
mom
that he was here, because we didn't tell anyone that we were going into labor.
That's true, yeah. The entire time during labor, nobody knew.
Because we didn't want to be interrupted with hypnobirthing.
Nobody knew. People were texting us, but you just kind of ignore them. We wanted to focus on us.
Yeah.
Not have the stress. Other people worry about us. Not have us worried about them.
Yeah.
It was beautiful from start to finish. Honestly, it could not have gone any better. The hypnobirthing from our doula. Our doula was amazing. Maddie, you're awesome. Can't not praise you enough.
Seriously, and South Coast too. We love South Coast. Our South Coast family. But yeah, if you're thinking of having a natural or unmedicated, I rather say unmedicate than natural because all birth is natural, you know, but an unmedicated birth, I definitely think you should explore your options. Like I said, we did hypnobirthing, we did a water birth, we had a doula, but I think the key to all this, to having a successful unmedicated birth is, oh, I have a hole in here, is having the support. Like if it wasn't for G, I would not have been able to do it by myself. If it wasn't for my doula, I would not have been able to do it as well. So, you know, if you have the support and you have the means to, definitely look into, you know, natural or unmedicated solutions, because honestly, just seeing how alert he was straight out of the womb was reason enough for me to do it again. And, you know, the first things out of my mouth that I said was like, holy shit, like right after he was earthside, was, holy shit, this was intense, and I get why people get epidurals. Like, I get it. But, you know, also what they said about momnesia is true. Like, a month later, here we are, and we're already talking about our next kid, and I'm open to it. Like, I'm totally ready for when that time comes, despite how intense it all was. But yeah, that was our experience. If you guys have any questions, let me know.
It was empowering.
It was very empowering. I mean, I came out the other side a stronger woman, not knowing that my body was capable of doing that. I feel like I was, you know, I went from maiden to mother through that mother portal and came out alive with a beautiful, healthy baby boy. Yeah. Now a month old.
It's beautiful. I mean, the biggest thing I remember I had a conversation with my brother, and I told him that from everything that I've learned, that, you know, all the research we've done, the homework, classes we've taken, the empowerment from Raquel that I saw from her, I honestly felt that if maybe I was a woman, I could do it.
Yeah, you can.
You know what I mean? Like, it was, I'm like, this is fucking amazing.
Yes, I honestly believe that if I can do it, any woman can.
Yes, and she did it. And now that we have this story, we can say that, you know, she is among the few who, you know, took this on head on.
It shouldn't be few though. I feel like
it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I feel
but
like
the whole thing is breaking the mold. I mean, unfortunately,
more accessible to women.
Yeah, everybody just kind of has this perception of how birth should be, but it's not.
It's fear within our culture. That's fear. The thing, and
it's
we get
easy,
out of that
and it's
mindset,
easy. It's completely.
You'll see how capable you really are of birthing a human.
Your bodies were made for this.
Yeah, that's biologically our bodies were made to do this. So
not the only mammal that can't do it,
right? Exactly. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. If daddies have any questions for G, definitely let us know.
I got a lot of books. I read freaking so many of them. So if you guys need any advice on kind of
pointers.
Where to get the ball rolling, we got you.
Yep. Yeah, he's not really active on social media, so you can ask me and I will relay the message. But that's it. Thank you guys so much. I hope this was informative. I will be posting. You're shaking the camera, honey. I will be posting a blog post with details as well and pictures. I can't promise doing an Instagram post with condensed details because this was long as it is. I'm pretty sure we're at 30 minutes right now. If you guys watched it this long, thank you for sticking with us. But yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Guys. Love you all. And happy 1 month to Kai baby.
Happy 1 month birthday, Kai baby.
He's 1 month old. Yay. Yay. Bye. Say bye-bye.